Hey, hello, and welcome to my channel. As you can see from the title today, we're doing something a little different, just for fun. Today we're doing one of those tier lists that you see many other channels do, but I've never seen anyone do a Kubrick tier list. So today we're going to list from top to bottom my favorite films by Stanley Kubrick. So let's look at our list. Well, I guess the first thing we should do is take a quick look at the six categories we're going to be putting our films in. If you look to the left, you can see the title of our top category is The Greatest Film Ever Made. And you can take your own guesses as to what film or films might end up in our top category. Below that, we have A Work of Genius. Then below that is important film with something special. Then we have a solid film. After that is not my cup of tea, which definitely doesn't mean it's a bad film, but just that it wasn't one I would really watch again. And finally, our bottom category, even Stanley would like to forget this movie. And next thing we should do is list the films we're going to look at. Stanley Kubrick had 13 films officially, and they are Fear and Desire from 1952. Now, we're going to talk about all of these films later, but right now we're just listing them. Then, Killer's Kiss from 1955, The Killing from 1956, Paths of Glory from 1957, Spartacus from 1960, Lolita from 1962, Doctor Strangelove from 1964, 2001 A Space Odyssey from 1968, and A Clockwork Orange from 1971. Barry Lyndon, 1975, of course, The Shining from 1980, and Full Metal Jacket from 1987. And finally, Eyes Wide Shut from 1999, Stanley Kubrick's final film. Now, first up is A Clockwork Orange. And yes, I know this isn't the first film, but I want to skip around a bit and not do this in chronological order. And I'm going to put this in important film with something special. Now, one of the main reasons I think it's an important film is that A Clockwork Orange is based on a very important book, at least to me, by Anthony Burgess. Of course, on a list with so many awesome films, the competition is tough. But I think this film has something special, most obviously from the amazing visuals here. This film is audacious and not afraid to show the harsh lives of the Droogs. Next, we have The Killing from 1956. This is Stanley Kubrick's noir film, more or less. In black and white, it's about a heist at a racetrack. I know old black and white films aren't everyone's favorite, but I think we can put this in a solid film. If you like noir films, it can be fun with the sleazy jazz soundtrack and the pretty decent performances for a 1950s film. Also, this film was apparently a big influence on Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. Next is 2001 A Space Odyssey, Kubrick's epic from 1968. I think we can put this in a work of genius. I know some of you may have wanted this in the top category, but I feel it is solidly in as a work of genius. The originality of this film is breathtaking, going from the dawn of man all the way to space travel. This is genius. Next, Spartacus, the big Technicolor historical drama from 1960. I was torn whether to put this one in a solid film or an important film with something special, but I put it in important film with something special. And again, I know older films aren't to everyone's liking, but there are many important themes here related to civil rights and freedom issues of the time. And really, I should do some analysis of Spartacus one day too, but it's the something special that makes this film fun. And that's mainly the performances, especially Laurence Olivier as a Roman general. He's great. Next up, Dr. Strangelove from 1964. I did a video about Dr. Strangelove not that long ago, and it's such a clever film and really funny in some scenes too. I think we should put this in important film with something special. Of course, this film, although in black and white, was wildly original for the time. From its audacious sets, overtly political, and anti war dialogue put out during the Cold War, and especially for the crazy visuals of Slim Pickens riding a bomb with a cowboy hat, it's something special. Okay, the next film, Paths of Glory from 1957. I know this is another anti war film, but unfortunately, I have to put this in not my cup of tea, mostly because the subject matter is very heavy. And I don't mean any offense to anyone, but this wasn't really a film I want to see again. We might as well do Stanley's first ever film next, Fear and Desire from 1952. It's another anti war film, but doesn't specify which war. When this was re released in 1993, Kubrick discouraged people from going to see it, calling it, quote, a bumbling amateur film exercise. So the only place for this one is our bottom category. Even Stanley would like to forget this movie. I'm happy we can move on to The Shining from 1980. It's no secret I love this film since I do so much analysis on it. And yes, this one gets the top spot. I think The Shining is actually the greatest film ever made. Why do I think that? Well, maybe after all of the deep analysis I've done of it, I realize that there seems to be endless layers in this film. It's like the deeper you go here, you keep discovering even more paths you can go down. There's always something more. I think it goes beyond genius. Next, Barry Lyndon from 1975. This is Kubrick's beautiful period piece set in the mid 1700s. I think this can also go in important film with something special. And the main reason for that is this film is so beautifully shot. It actually looks like a painting. Kubrick rather famously used the same camera lenses that NASA would use on the moon to shoot the candlelight scenes. That's pretty special. Now, Full Metal Jacket from 1987. This is Kubrick's Vietnam War film and again shows the harsh realities of war. I would also put this in important film with something special. And the main reason, for me anyway, is the character development. We really come to know the soldiers here, for better or worse, and we get to see how war changes them. The something special might be the rather infamous whole first sequence of boot camp. Next is 1962's Lolita, another black and white film. But to be honest, with the subject matter, this just isn't my favorite. So I put this one in not my cup of tea. Let's move on to Killer's Kiss from 1955, another noir type crime drama. I've got to put this in a solid film, mainly because Stanley actually did the cinematography himself on location in New York City with no studio sets. It's a little bit gritty and a little bit grimy, and we get to see the old Penn Station and Times Square. And finally, Stanley Kubrick's final film, Eyes Wide Shut, from 1999. I'm also a huge fan of this film, which you already know if you watch my channel. This definitely goes in a work of genius, and there's many reasons why. Again, there's layers of deep themes that run through this film, but the stunning visuals and music make the mansion scenes unforgettable. It's great on many levels, and it's absolutely a work of genius. Well, here's my full tier list of Stanley Kubrick films, from my most favorite to my least favorite. How many did you agree with? Would you make any changes to my list? Let me know in the comments section. Also, it would help my channel if you did hit that subscribe button, but either way, my name is Shim. Thank you for spending time with me, and have a great day.